ABC 15's Carolina Champion is sponsored by Elliott Realty.
Each month, ABC 15 presents someone in the community with the Carolina Champion Award. It's an award given to leaders who inspire extraordinary action. And tonight's recipient is a woman on a mission with a heart to serve others. And she's doing it in a place that her family has called home for centuries. Cheryl Kale moved her family to South Carolina during one of the most difficult times in her life. She and her son relocated from Connecticut to a domestic violence shelter in Horry County.
I recognize now that even coming down here in a somewhat tragic situation, it gave us the opportunity to reconnect with community, our tribal community. It helped my son to thrive.
It also helped Cheryl to thrive, honoring her family's legacy and becoming an active member of the Waccamaw tribe of South Carolina.
Knowing where you belong, I think, is so important, and I think that's a piece of what may be missing today.
Now seeing the next generations of her family taking part in traditions rooted deep in her family tree.
This year at our powwow, I was fortunate to see my youngest grandson grass dancing. He's found his place in the tribal community.
Cheryl is now proud to lead that community, serving as the acting chief of the Waccamaw Indian people, a role she knows her grandmother, who grew up in the PD, would be so proud of.
She grew up in Aner in the Demery settlement. I found out that my great-grandfather was what I call a serial violator of the fishing license. So
he was resourceful.
He just went out and fished and didn't understand the whole process of having to get a license because it was just being implemented.
But she also discovered how he found balance between the past and the present.
My great-grandfather would preach, and then after his very long sermons would have men come and they would go into the woods and do another ceremony that was an indigenous ceremony.
Cheryl isn't just an advocate for cultural preservation, but for environmental protection for future generations as well. Her passion for this cause hit extremely close to home.
My son was diagnosed with cancer. And that particular cancer, as we later learned, was you're at high risk of developing that type of cancer if you've been exposed to PFAS.
Her son is now 5 years cancer-free, but the journey for this family is far from over.
At 20, he wanted to find out why he had this cancer, and so his investigation is what spurred me on, and he said, I think you need to do something about this, Mom.
Cheryl says she became aware of the contamination of these forever chemicals in the groundwater of certain sites in Horry County and across the state.
I want to bring things that I have tools and skills and what I'm passionate about, and it's always been helping other people. And I do see it, this crosses beyond just in tribal nations.
So she made it her mission to educate and motivate communities, bringing river keepers and tribal leaders together to identify those who are most at risk, while rallying her tribe of supporters and advocates in hopes of one day eradicating the production of these chemicals. Cheryl is also using her platform and position to champion Indigenous sovereignty, focusing on the need for federal recognition of the Waccamaw people, from repatriating the remains of her ancestors to pursuing funds to secure the future of her tribe.
We're very underserved, very limited, and the tribes operate as a nonprofit, but we are a nonprofit that has very limited funds. What I've been doing in my role, vice chief moving into acting chief, is trying to figure out a way where we can go after the grants, that we can build our capacity, possibly build to a place where we have economic development, where our grounds are utilized for year-round camping and cultural education.
Now this survivor, mother, grandmother, and chief of her tribe is honoring her ancestors while working to protect the future for her descendants. And on February 5th, by the way, in a show of unison for their common goals, Cheryl is joining other tribal chiefs from across the state in a historic Tribal Alliance signing ceremony in the SC State House. The Waccamaw tribe also has many different local events open to the public, and they're happening in the near future. So we put a list of all those opportunities for you, as well as a virtual link to a tour that you can take right now courtesy of CCU and Horry County Museum. It's called the Waccamaw Indian People, Past, Present, Future. It's their exhibit, and it's right now. You'll find it on WPDE.com. And also, if you'd like to learn more about our Carolina Champion Initiative or nominate someone who you believe is making a difference in their community, we have all that information for you on our website as well. Just go to WPDE.com.